Welcome to my podcast, Chat with Loki. It's about sharing stories of grit, resilience, wisdom from unseen, unheard, everyday heroes of life. So I totally agree that humanity comes first and then the rest follows.
Well, there's no one better than another. Why?
No one.
But the racism against Arabs has allowed this to happen. That's my opinion. It's years of Hollywood, especially, planting these ideas in people's minds that we're lesser, that we're dirty,
it's been acknowledged across. Yeah. It's been acknowledged.
Well, I'm saying those days are being challenged. You know that idea.
2025, they have done something. Stats for media, what they show, based on number of deaths, cause of deaths. And out of cause of deaths, the bottom two is homicide and terrorism related. They're the least impacted on humanity or least impacted on cause of death. But there's the only two which was shown highest on media, social media and everything. But the top ones are no one's really interested is the usual suspects like heart failures, health issues, day-to-day health issues, old age, all these things. No one's interested in them. But that's where the majority of deaths are.
But we're under what circumstances as well? If you are someone who has a life-threatening illness...
I'm talking about the media's posts or media talking about deaths.
No, so I back in my day when I was writing for Pharmacy magazine, I talked a lot about health issues in my articles. Yeah. And one of them was heart disease. Yeah. Being one of the biggest killers of women. Yeah. And also the fact that men's diseases get more attention than women's, things like that. But also a lot of the time, to be fair, one of the reasons why heart disease is so high and prevalent is because a natural course of death is the heart stops. Yeah. Right? And if there's no other underlying thing...
No, there is...
They'll say, it's heart disease.
There is... there's a lot of other things. Heart failure for a 40-year-old is different to heart failure for an 80-year-old, all those things. But what I'm trying to say here is the media projection, the social media, we are all looking for only one thing, sensation, validation, and it goes into that area, which is basically, okay, where can I get more eyeballs?
See, I actually think we're seeking connection. We're seeking connection.
Through?
Everything we do, but we don't think we are. We don't like being alone.
Yeah, if we can't connect with ourselves, clearly we are looking for external.
So we are, exactly. Like the validation you were talking about, it's even deeper than that. It's, I need to see myself in this person.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm not going to spend time with me.
Yes.
And that's why you get cults. That's why you get a lot of people who follow the herd and they don't think for themselves and they will only answer to a leader and they only feel comfortable being told how to think.
Exactly. See, I think that's why it's out of our control. As an individual, like you're doing what you can do as an individual to bring awareness or to tell the truth. And how many people will connect or respond is not in your control.
No, 100%. But I think that, so I do have a very defeatist attitude sometimes. I feel like my voice is not very strong. It's not enough. I don't have thousands and thousands of followers. I have a very modest following on Instagram. If I spent every single day posting, sensationalizing, being controversial, I'm sure I could see my numbers grow, but I don't want to. It's not how I want to live my life. I've got real responsibilities. I have genuine concerns in my life. I can't spend all my day on social media doing that, and it's not my thing. But I do believe it's very important to help people become better individuals because if not, they will fall into collective thinking and not think for themselves. And I try to take heart in the fact that if you can affect even one person or two people, they might affect people in their circles. And that's how you can hope that those little drips will make a change. But it's very hard. It is. It's you're competing with a lot of noise all the time.
I think that ripple effect you're talking about, whatever you're doing, even though there might not be millions, that one or two person might have another 10,000. Who knows?
We don't know. You can absolutely change a person's life. You can.
Exactly. I think the key aspect here is not the numbers, not all these other things, comparing it with others, but what you're doing, you're true to yourself, and you're actually doing something you're passionate about.
I try to. I mean, at the moment, I feel very sort of unmotivated, I guess. I feel very disheartened by everything. And I've had a lot of personal challenges this year. And actually in the last 3 years, I just think I don't know if this is my recent era, I would say it's the biggest flop. You know, it's not a fun time. And I think that I have to honor that in a way as well. In a weird way, I think it feels better to surrender to something not being great and actually going, this is happening right now and I have to accept it. Mm-hmm. If I try to fight this feeling, if I try to force my way through it, I'm actually going to end up in a much worse place. It's not going to give me the outcome I want. And so life will sometimes, I don't like to use these words, but it will beat you down. It will absolutely beat you down.
I'm a living example here. Life beat me down. I beat 3 near-death experiences, and I lost my father in 2021 during peak COVID time.
Sorry.
I tried to come back to country, and 15 times I failed. 3 times or 4 times, 3 times, I went all the way to Dubai and was sent back.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, I got stuck for 3 months, and I lost my mother in 2004. Before she would be 50, and I'm 50 now. And I was near bankrupt, and there's something happening every 3 months. And the beauty of life is every time you come out of it, you start to realize how beautiful it is. And for me, I don't see any individual going through a rough phase or a tough phase as the end of their journey. I believe in something bigger than us. You can call it God, you can call it religion, whatever it is, but there is this power and energy is driving us to overcome that. And every time I overcome that, I have more trust in that energy, in that spirit. So whatever is happening in the world, whatever is happening, what's in my control, I focus on that. But I really like that ripple effect. I go and say something, and this podcast is all about that. There's people talking about celebrities. There's people talking about everything and stuff. But for me, I just said, you know what? There's so many stories around us. Not all great stories of grit, stories of loss, stories of, stuff. And that's exactly why we're having this conversation. And for me, there is something, we all want the way the world should be and all those things. But, not everything is in our control. And we got to just accept that. And some of the things you just mentioned, like, feminism, all these things, I don't agree with a lot of that stuff. I like the definition of it changed. Back in 70s and 80s, feminism was a great movement.
Well, it doesn't mean anything. I don't accept the term either. I don't use it
I'm
for
just
myself.
saying it's kind of like, the intent was to empower females and all those things. And then now it's changed. The wokeism has taken control of a lot of things.
Well, I think a better way of putting it, if you don't mind me saying, is that things get weaponized.
Weaponized, yes. Yeah.
And when something is weaponized, it's lost. That's it. It loses its power because and this is the problem with activism as well, that it's essential, but it can often weaponize something and then actually destroy the thing it wants to protect.
Yes.
And so I think that, yes, we can say like, oh, well, I can only focus on what I can control, like whatever, that's fine. But we have a bigger problem. We have a lot of ads. If you go into any shopping center, mental health ads.
Yes.
People are suffering. We are all scared. We're anxious. We're mean to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that people do just for nothing, like the anger that comes out, we're not a good society. We're not actually taking care of our people. And especially when you have these people coming through who are older, we don't know what to do with them. Exactly. Right? And so we have a lot of work to do as humans. But can we somehow simplify that? So for me, the worst thing you can do to a person is to take their life.
Yeah.
There's nothing beyond that. You could hurt someone, you can inflict pain on them, you can say things about them. There's a lot of things you can do to people, and they're not great.
Yeah.
But if you take their life, it's over. That's the end of the story, right? Unless somehow there is a legacy that lives on, even then, that person will never be here again. And that is, to me, the tragedy, right? So I think it's a luxury for me to talk about nothing's that bad and I have to work on my control when there's a kid in Gaza or in Ukraine or in Sudan or anywhere, and not even just a kid, any person could wake up not knowing if they're going to be alive because of a conflict that is beyond their control or an injustice. I don't know how to be okay with that. And so for me, my big challenge, I guess, in this next phase of my life is, how do I affect any kind of people or person or then effect change as a result of it? Because my experience has shown me that, I don't like to say I'm ahead of things, but I'm thinking about things that nobody else is thinking about.
That's great.
And but it means that nobody pays attention when I say it. And then years later, other people will come in and do it. And then, this is great, wonderful. No. Why didn't we think about this? And it's like, well, I wrote it 10 years ago, And so for me, it's like I don't intentionally be the first person to do something, but quite often I am, because we are so underrepresented as Arab women that a lot of what I've done is just, it hasn't been done by a lot of people. And unfortunately, it's still very hard to get people to care.
So what do you mean by Arab woman? What's
we're not heroines in literature. We're always side characters. We are always the sister of a terrorist or the mother of a terrorist in television. We're not our own characters. Like the two main shows in the US that feature Arab characters are literally men, Rami and Mo, and I love them. They're both great, talented actors, and I applaud it and I support them, and I 100% want to see them succeed. But we haven't seen the female Arab woman yet. We haven't. In Rami, he does give a couple of episodes to his sister in the show, and she's amazing. 𝗙𝗵𝘁𝗵 plays her. But it's just this tragedy that Arab women's voices are still, like, when we try to raise them, or when we do raise them, it's still like I said, there's a gatekeeping system at play that sort of still monitors how we are seen. And, I've had feedback before. It's like, well, we would like to do that, but we're not sure about the backlash that we might get. And so I'm not trusted as an Arab female voice. Like, it's that I will put myself into jeopardy by doing something that Muslims or Arabs might not like. And that's the kind of stuff I hear all the time. And it's quite insulting,
So
to be
it
honest.
seems like the resistance is within.
It's not, no? This is like non-Arabs telling me that they're so afraid of backlash that they stay away from certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it's we created this notion of sensitivity.
But you have to trust us as artists that we feel a time is right to talk about something. We will, and it's just I'm not saying that, hey, this has to happen now. I'm telling you this is the uphill battle I face or other creatives face in my position. It's this lack of trust. It's a lack of space. It's a lack of opportunity. There's so many things we're up against. And so, we can only try and hope that when the time comes, your voice is still ringing in people's ears in the right way.
There's one thing I can say is 10 years ago, few artists published books and also released some albums, music albums, and also some movies. And they became famous only in the last 6 months.
Yeah, no, it happens all the time.
Yeah,
and I know.
So that it's not the end of the road.
No, I
know. Whatever you're doing, what I'm trying to say here is you wrote 8 books, and whatever you're working on, who knows? Maybe it's for the future. Who knows? Maybe it's not happening now, but in 10 years' time, that would be the most read book or whatever message you're giving.
It's 100% true. And I just want to be really clear. This isn't me having a whinge because I'm not famous or something. I don't care about fame. I have zero interest in it. I find it very uncomfortable, actually, when people think they know you and all of these things. It's very hard.
Yeah.
I always appreciate conversation with strangers and things like that, but I just still struggle a little bit with, I'm very private in that way.
Yeah.
So even when I was being asked to be doing this podcast, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
And I was like, my spidey senses are tingling. I was like, what's he going to ask me about? I have to be really careful here. But I really just want to advocate for all humans. Like, I have no interest in just saying, hey, Arabs are the most important people in the room. We're not. Like, I'm trying to say, give us our space to express ourselves and stop monitoring us and censoring us. And my concern is that even now when we're getting opportunities, it's suiting a purpose. It's ticking a box. I think the future is honestly self-created content. I really believe that very strongly. I think that we're always going to have the big houses, the big production houses, the big studios and all of that. And maybe they're necessary, but wealth is what allows all of these things to happen. And they don't only exist in the studio bubble. So I think that it's really important that people take this ability that we have, this remarkable time where we have access to so much technology on our phones.
Yes, yeah.
And I think we should use it. And I say this as a reminder to myself, because right now I don't feel creative at all. I feel very, very downhearted, and I feel very disappointed with things. And I also think that that's a luxury I get to have. That I can just be sad and disappointed, whereas my life is not at risk in the way other people's are.
But you already said there's things you're going through, so it's okay.
A lot of things.
So
I can give you the shopping list, but I also don't want to be that person who's like, I'm going to one up your tragedy with mine. Like here's
no.
It's not like that.
Yeah, it's we all go through in our own pace. And,
sorry if I may ask, do you know like anything about tarot? Tarot decks and things
yes,
like that.
yes.
So there's something called the major arcana in tarot, which is essentially like the big events.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
One of them is called the Tower. And the Tower is like one of the scariest cards. It's a tower collapsing.
Tower
People
collapse,
are falling out of it. It's on fire.
Yeah.
And everybody hates that card because it's like, oh, crap, something bad's going to happen. And I've managed over the years to realize that it's inevitable. The Tower moment, it's inevitable. It will happen multiple times in your life. And the beauty of the Tower has to be found. And the beauty of the Tower is that it absolutely burns away things, but it burns away that which is not real or authentic to you or your experience or what is good for you.
Yes.
It will absolutely shatter you, but show you what's left standing. And so I've reworded it now. I've called the last few years the collapse because I feel like in my mind, my identities have been completely flattened.
Yeah.
Like when you said, who are you? I was like, oh, well, I can tell you things about me, but they're not who I am.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I feel like, yes, I'm Palestinian, but it's not the story.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a writer, but it's nothing. It's something I do.
Yeah.
And that flattening of your identity is crushing because identity is so safe. It feels great.
Yes.
I belong to this group. This is something I do.
Yeah.
This is a religion I follow.
Yeah.
These things are safety nets and they are wonderful. They keep you really safe until they don't.
Yes.
Until one day you test them and you realize they can't keep holding you up. And so in a way, I guess I invite and accept that collapse, but it's also heartbreaking and it tears away at everything. And you have to rebuild and figure out what is real and what isn't. And then hopefully you do have those things. There has to be something in your life.
Yes.
Multiple things that matter and will stay standing. But what a horrible thing to go through, right? It's horrible. And it's painful.
It's
you have to have the tools to get through it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah.
And the right
totally
people.
Agree. Totally
and the right
agree.
situations. And I think that if I give myself credit for anything, it's eventually getting out of my own way.
Yeah.
Eventually I can still my mind long enough to go, you already know you're not meant to do anything right now. You're meant to sit back and just do where you're needed, like do the things where you're needed. So right now I am very much a carer, and that's what my role is in life. That's how I see it. And anything else around that is interference.
With your father?
Yeah, but my husband also had cancer this year, so like it wasn't a fun year. It's not a fun year. And to me, obviously I have the heartbreak of seeing my people going through that, and I don't want to overemphasize this for any other reason than to say that is the soundtrack of my life. It's not something I see on social media. It's something I experience every day. I grieve them.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you can sort of get out of your own way long enough to go, what is the need that I have to satisfy today? Not even this week, but today. What is today's job? And today's job to me was I had to catch up with 2 friends that was much needed. And they're my high school friends. I've known them since kindergarten, actually.
Yeah.
And I had to come here to do this podcast. And so I can create this bubble around my day and go, Sunday is this. You need to do these things today, because that's what my life is at the moment.
Yeah.
I used to be different. I used to be like, I can think a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead, a month. Now I'm like, can I just get through the day? And it's not depression. It's actually the opposite.
You are getting through the day every day, whatever the day throws at you. And that's, not many will go through the day. And so, caring, it humbled me. So going from Sydney, at the last stages of my father, kidney issues.
Yeah, my father has that too, yeah.
And they said kidney failure, so has to go through dialysis and the usuals. And my dad was thinking he has 5 years. And I was also thinking, I can do this, come back. And then one day I sat down with the doctor and said, listen, I traveled all the way, and your honesty and truth will help me to actually make whatever decision I need to make next. And then he said, probably as only a few months.
Wow, but like that takes courage to say, please don't lie to me, just tell me what I need to know as best as you can.
Yeah, so when he said it, I said, thank you, I appreciate this. And then I have to go and manage that message. And I said to my dad at the last minutes, like last few weeks, he was expecting everyone to come and all those things. And I knew no one was coming because of the COVID, and my siblings, they're all in different countries, UK, US, and, Trinidad. And I said, no one's coming.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Oh, dear.
And I said, it's because of COVID and all those things. Just get through. But what really humbled me is the caretaking. We talk about it, but the moment we need to actually do that, oh my God.
It's different, yeah.
That was like, for me, never in my imagination, I thought that would take the patience, it actually plays it with your head.
It's definitely a mood. It's not something that is easy. It's not for the faint of heart, no.
Like no sleep, 24/7. It's almost 24/7, no sleep. You suddenly start to find, there's voices coming, and you don't know which one is real, which one is
problem solving.
Yeah.
What's the next thing I have to do? Because you're responsible for someone. That's how you feel.
And one thing I realized is, I think it was 4.5 or 5.5 hours difference. I started posting one post, my midnight there, which is I think 6:30 or 7:30 a.m. here, before everyone's going to work. I started posting about caring, because slowly I started appreciating it. And then suddenly, there's 5,000 new connections happened. Because until that time, I was posting something which is not real, authentic.
It's for you, not for anyone else. Yeah.
And suddenly when I started sharing it, oh my God, okay. And then and suddenly now I got comfortable in sharing things. So I could only imagine what you're going through, not one person, but two. And my mother died of cancer.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay. So it's not easy to go through these things. And people always think or imagine, but it's the individual experience.
Thing is as well, you're also going through things as an individual. So
Yes.
I have my own health issues that I deal with, which I don't publicly talk about, because I don't want that to be my identity. You know what I mean? So there are things that people have invisible conditions, at least partly invisible, unless they know what you're going through. But you sort of sit there and you start to triage your problems.
Yeah.
So you go, okay, so there are 3 very serious situations right now.
Yeah.
But which one is like code red? Which one is the most important thing that I have to focus on today?
Yes.
And unfortunately what starts to happen is that you can almost take away the relevance of anything else that still needs attention and still needs care. And, I'm lucky my husband's very self-sufficient. He wasn't completely reliant on me, but definitely I would not wish it upon anyone what we went through. Seeing someone you love going through that kind of thing is devastating, and it changes you forever. It really does. But the thing I will say, I'm not being dramatic here. You just get on with it. You really don't have time to indulge your heartache and your sadness. It sneaks up on you later. So actually, like, there's this resilience in you that switches on and goes, hey, I don't need to make this about me. I'm not the one undergoing radiation now. So I'm going to be strong and just support in any way I can.
Be there,
But later on, when you're all by yourself, like you said, the voices come and you're like, wow, you just watched this happen to this person who you care about or you love or whatever. And it's a lot.
It is.
And so I think that it's important to sort of acknowledge that sometimes you don't have the luxury of indulgence. Like, this is partly why I don't talk about stuff on social media, because then it becomes almost like a gimmick. Like, this is my thing. And I don't mean that's what you, like, what I mean by that is like, I'm not going to get any comfort from it.
No, you're not going to pretend.
I'm not going to pretend. I don't want it to, especially because I am somewhat established as a writer.
Yes.
It's almost like I'm very averse to doing anything that looks like I'm trying to make that. Like, I could have, trust me, there are things that have happened that I could have made that the story, and I don't want to.
You're being authentic. You're not pretending or influencing in a fake way.
I can't do it,
And that's why there will also be backlash. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the backlash will come from the people who might know you.
Yeah, I've been there too.
So it's but is there a message, if there is someone going through right now of caring for an elderly, or heard the news of something, severe health, is there a message? Is there something you can say to them?
I would just say, don't make it about you if possible. Whatever emotional reaction you have to that is relevant and important, and it's going to inform how you help that person. So instead of going, oh my God, I'm so sad and this is horrible and I'm going to cry about it and all this sort of stuff, you go, this is really sad and I don't want this person, A, to suffer, B, to end, for their life to go to an end right now, or whatever it is that, depending on the situation, honor what they're going through and honor the potentials for them. So it's not about, like, for me, in all honesty, my husband's diagnosis was pretty bad, right? And so in that moment, I didn't have time to go, hey, this isn't fair, and oh my God, I'm going to save you. It was like, okay, how do I minimize this into this, like, I'll use the word bubble again, so that we can deal with what we can deal with right now. Like, what's the next step? So the first step is like diagnosis. The next step is treatment. So that's how I did it. So be practical. Be like I just feel like honor like the stage they're at. Like you said with your father, just be honest with me. You don't want to prolong your father's suffering, right? So you're like, tell me honestly, like, does he have a good prognosis? He's saying no. I don't know if that ended up being exactly right. Did he pass within a few months? And
he passed away within 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay. So that's really hard. And so, like, if you had made that all about you and your grief and everybody has to be here and all sort of stuff, instead you said to your dad, honestly, no one's coming, but I'm here, right? That is beautiful. Like, it's the simplest things that you can do for a person. And then the other thing I would say is try to find beauty in anything. Like, this is going to sound silly, but if you love jewelry, wear your best jewelry. If you care about, like, skincare, I can tell you when I was going through a really rough time this year at one point, because one of the things I do is I do a lot of aerial stuff, like hammock, work. It's important for my health, but also for my well-being in general. And so that was like my only social interaction. And they saw the change, because I went from, like, always wearing eyeliner, always looking well presented, to, like, coming in hair's not brushed, no eyeliner. They're like, one of my friends at one point just said, you can still take time to do your face. And I'm like, do I look that bad? And it wasn't that. It was that she knew that's not who you are. Like, you're obviously neglecting yourself. And it got to that point where I just didn't give a crap. I was like, I have no interest in putting on eye. Like, I was in such a dark place that I know it sounds stupid, but these little things are clues as to how you are feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
When you stop doing the things that give you joy or the things that you love doing because it's just part of your routine, they're they're nuggets of information that you need to pay attention to and say, okay, all right, I'm not feeling great right now. Yeah. How do I address this? And I don't have to feel great, but how can I feel better?
I like what you just said. If you love jewelry, and it's okay to go and buy a piece of jewelry, because I've witnessed this recently. Someone close to me wasn't feeling great, but she loves jewelry so much. And what she does, she goes and gets a best piece of some bracelet, and it's her way of getting through. It's her way
of connecting to herself again.
Exactly.
And that's why I would say it, because in the past, my instinct would be, don't buy stuff. Like, that's not going to make you feel better.
Yes.
I actually don't agree with that now. I think that if you're buying something that has meaning for you.
Yes.
I don't mean buying a big screen TV just for the sake of it, or like, when people are like rolling in money, they feel bad, they'll go buy a Rolex. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. But if you truly value something, if you're an artist and you love crayons and pencils and the best quality art, like, that will lift you in a way and transport you out of that feeling of helplessness, because that's what leads down the dark path of depression and all these things. And I think it's okay, like, allow yourself to have a bad day, bad moments, bad whatever. But I feel like if we just give up, then we're kind of letting not just them down, but ourselves as well. And I think it's very important. Like, I actually think that there's so much greatness and humility in surrendering, because you're not that important. You know what I mean? Like, you have to realize, like, I never, and this is the truth, it doesn't matter what's happened to me, I never take it personally. I've never said, why is this happening to me? Poor me, like, this shouldn't happen to me.
No victim mentality.
I don't have a victim mentality.
Yeah.
I might get upset that something's happened to me, but I don't personalize it to the point that I think I'm special.
Yeah.
I don't think I am. Like, I don't think anyone is, to be honest.
There's a lot of I'm too special moments going on there.
I just don't think it's like...
It won't last.
No one's that interesting. Like, we're not. We're just...
Eventually life will beat you down and show you the true mirror.
Nature is more powerful than all of us. And this is the thing, that we're seeing the breakdown of everything in life is the result of nature taking its course. You can't beat it. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah,
like,
true.
You have to rise and sort of meet it in some way. But I don't, like, I've done, like, one of my books that I didn't mention is called In My Past Life, I Was 𝗙𝗵𝘁𝗄. And it was all about, like, the self-help and new age movements, because...
The book name is 𝗙𝗵𝘁𝗄?
In My Past Life, I Was 𝗙𝗵𝘁𝗄, because if you go get a reading, they'll always say things like, well, I can see you in ancient Egypt and you were 𝗙𝗵𝘁𝗄, you were very powerful. And so everyone thinks they were someone important, they think they were Caesar or 𝗙𝗵𝘁𝗄 or somebody, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a very humorous journalistic take on my explorations through that world. And it's not a takedown, because I like some aspects of it. But I think what was really interesting was self-help is sort of not the same as New Age. They're not necessarily the same, right? So New Age is very much spiritually, metaphysically, a lot of appropriated stuff, but it's that channel of, like, something is unseen, there's a mystery, right? Like Joseph Campbell talks about the mystery.
Yes.
Self-help is very, like, it can be very grounded. And as you're seeing now with the new wave of self-help, there's a lot of swearing in it. Like, there's that
smashing
one,
things.
Well, like Mark Manson, like the art of not giving a fuck, and all that stuff. So it's almost like this. I'm embarrassed to admit I need help, so I'm going to make it really funny. Yeah, and I'm going to swear a lot. And like they do it well. Like, Americans are very good at, especially like the self-help stuff is all coming out of America, really. And I think it's really fascinating, because people spend their whole lives reading these books and listening to these lectures and going to these things, and they're actually not getting much better.
No, there's no change.
the action is what they think is the result, and it's not. It's just an action. And so the way you know is if you like, because I really do love tarot and all these things, and I've done it for friends and whatever. And what I've even noticed in the past is when people tell me they go to a reader and they're going all the time. I'm like, well, it doesn't sound like they're helping you very much. And they're like, no, she's great. She told me this and she told me that. And then it's like, but you keep going back to her. So you're not actually, there's no change there.
Yeah.
And so when you know there's actually value in something like that, it's because you're listening and going, wait, you've told me something that I'm doing or something that's happening.
Yeah.
And now I have this information. I'm going to go and make some changes.
Yeah.
And it's not instant, but you will start changing your life.
Yeah.
And that's how you know that you're actually getting better. Like self-help is actually helping you, or new age practices are helping you.
Progress.
But if you are constantly spending money, and I remember talking to a hairdresser about this, and she said, I've spent thousands of dollars on new age stuff, like self-help and new age. And she didn't feel like she came out any richer as a person inside.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, that's just the scam then. There are genuine things you can do to improve your life, but you have to show up for it and be willing to do it, you know. And I think that this is what we're missing in today's world. A lot of us want to feel good. We want to like something. We want to see inspirational quotes. We want to feel better. But like it's hard work to like make your life better and realize it's not perfect and realize that it's going to be a bit messy and have bumps. That takes effort.
Yeah, it does. It does. Actually, it reminded me recently I have seen something at a cafe. How fake, I don't know about fake, but this is something I witnessed. This lady was sitting next to my table, breakfast time, morning, and then she was crying and recording. And I initially thought, oh my God, I need to just go and see if she's okay, because you know, it's just a human nature. You want to go and just check if she's okay. But then you don't want to interrupt because there's recording happening there. And then, okay, just waited. And then the recording finished. And then she watched the recording. She's not happy the way she was crying. So I recorded again. So the third take, she was happy, I think. So she cried 3 times to record the perfect crying. I don't know what she was crying, but she was talking some different language, so I couldn't understand the message there. I don't understand that because it's the moment you did the second time, it's gone. It's no longer authentic. It's a performance. So in that performance, if you expect something pure to come, it won't. And it really happened last month. That's why it's so fresh in my...
No, but like you see it on like the TikTok, the good deeds. There were like a lot of, you know, people who would go, they're just like when you were doing your shopping, they'll just go, I've just paid for your shopping and all this stuff. And it happened to my parents once where this became a big thing. It was a couple of years ago where my parents were just minding their own business, walking down the street in the city. Yeah. And this guy comes up to them and says, can you open my water bottle for me? And he had a prop like sling. He pretended to have a broken arm or something.
Yes, yeah.
And my mum, of course, said no, just kept walking. This was like just post-COVID. Yeah. I mean, we're still in a COVID world anyway. Yeah. But this is a giant of a guy approaching these 2 elderly people. Yeah. And he put it up on TikTok and wrote, don't be the person who doesn't stop to help. And so all these people were abusing my elderly parents. One of them, my father is like off his day off from dialysis with his walking stick. And like one of my brothers in particular was especially distressed by it. And so I just said, look, this is when I have to dust off my journalism, you know, skills. And so I ended up getting published with SBS actually about it. And I criticised this nonsense. Like it was all performance on his part. And he was basically throwing 2 elderly people who were minding their own business under the bus. Why? So he could get some likes and views. Exactly. And like you can imagine, a lot of the comments were racist. And so it got a lot of attention. It blew up like complete, like Daily Mail covered it. Yeah. Like New York Post picked it up. I had people from around the world contacting me. It was very like quick, like these things last like, you know, if you're lucky a couple of days, but I wanted to bring awareness to it to say, leave people alone. Don't and I'd seen another woman who went through something like that. She was elderly and she was in a shopping center and some guy left a bunch of flowers for her. Yeah. And she looked quite distressed, and he was like, I've moved her to tears. And she contacted the media and said, no, I was pissed off because what was I supposed to do with these flowers and how condescending, and I didn't ask for them.
Yeah.
And so it was this really funny thing where I thought, you know, you are using other people as props in your little scenarios to show that you're a good person.
Trying to show,
So once in a while, I'm sure there are really good deeds happening, and I appreciate that, but that's just really rude. And so that guy, he responded and said, well, I'm not going to apologize. I've taken it down off Instagram, but I'm not taking it off TikTok, you know. And so I don't know. He probably put up more slop after that, so it doesn't matter. It all just disappears. But it was heartbreaking. My mum was like, can you explain to people what happened? And I said, well, first of all, I can't reach every person who's watched that stupid video. But I had a lot of people saying your mum did 100% the right thing.
Yeah.
He could have been a danger to them. Like, we don't know. But it's just, this is the performance.
There's no need of posting that.
But he doesn't even have he was really injured. He admitted that it was a prop.
Yeah, it's a fake. So it's a fake situation.
So you're going to go and ask this woman to open up a bottle just so you can show that she's a nice person?
Yeah. I understand doing some things to give the good message, but not using others and not understanding what they have gone through.
The whole thing.
That's a totally different thing. Because I've seen few other ones where this individual acts something. It's in South America, I think. He has something on his hand.
Pretends he's
Injured, but he's just sitting there. But he posts only the ones where they came and asked him, and then he shows the camera, and then he says it's a
so
video.
he declares to them.
He declares
I'm filming,
to them. Yeah. So those ones, okay, I understand, because you're just trying to give a different awareness. I don't know, but overall, why we are even talking about this is you're in the journalism. You have personally and professionally, you have some really, like, I won't say intense, but passionate things you are going through, okay? Because anything comes from the heart. I call that passionate. And you're trying your best to stay authentic and to help wherever you can. While doing all these things, you're creative.
Yeah. Don't become a creative. It's the worst, honestly.
Yes,
it's just the worst.
It's.
I honestly wish I had just stayed with law and just, played it safe. I can't tell you how many times I just wish I had just.
Yeah, lawyers can make a lot of money.
It's not about the money. It's about just a sense of purpose and stability. And I think that it's very hard to keep holding on to that as a creative when it's such an unstable path. Anybody who is in that can tell you even the most successful people will never feel secure.
I think the success rate of creatives, I think, is less than 1%.
Yeah, no, I believe that.
It's the least of any other career. And I think one time my daughter said she wants to become a director after watching Pirates of Caribbean or whatever it is. And I said to her, what's the success rate and what's the struggles and all those things you got to go through. And then I gave a little insight saying how big the budget is, how all those things. And oh, really? Okay. I said, before it comes to the screen, there is a lot.
Big. I would say the one thing I will say in defense, though, is I don't think creativity is irrelevant. I think it's important to be realistic about it as a professional pathway. Yeah. So let me be clear that I think creativity saves our lives.
It does.
Legitimately. I honestly, hand on heart, believe that without creativity, we would all just be shrinking into nothing. It would be.
Otherwise, it will be robots.
No, we are creating in every moment, and it's very important that you find meaningful creativity in your life. I think it's essential. So I don't want to sort of suggest that I'm critical of creativity. It's more that, is there a way for you to have some sort of, I don't know if safe is the right word because we're never safe, but something that is a bit more of a solid foundation. And then your creativity is this beautiful thing you can have that doesn't create misery, because when it becomes the pathway, it becomes like a frustration. It becomes like this noose around your neck where you feel like at any minute it's just all like, it's just a horrible feeling. And I have ticked off so many goals and it never felt as good as I thought it would.
Yeah.
And that was a big learning curve for me, to realize that it's the process that's the joy,
Yes.
not the outcome.
Yes.
So if you don't enjoy writing the book, don't become an author.
No.
You know, it's very easy for people to think that the moment is when it's printed. It's not. That's the beginning of the end, actually, because now it's in people's hands.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, because even then, you know, like
yes.
I had an ex-Olympian write to me once and say, I absolutely loved one. Like, I can't remember which book it was. I think it was The Things We See in the Light. It was one of my novels, and my mum is obsessed with it. And it was like, oh, that's so lovely. That's it. It's really lovely. No, I really, it meant something to me. Yeah. But what do I do with it?
Yeah.
I want more people reading my stuff because I hope it affects them, not because money. Forget about the money.
No.
You have to be J.K. Rowling to be making a lot of money.
No, even with her, there's a different story there. But the lawyer money thing, what I said is, we live in a litigated world where everything needs a lawyer now. It's the demand aspect. The demand aspect of lawyers is high compared to the artists or creatives we're talking about. But I totally understand about the book journey. I did publish a book last year, and it took me 9 years.
Did you self-publish?
Self-publish.
It's actually like, I mean, I started that way.
So it's self-published, but you know, the joy I got out of that is actually finishing it, like, you know, going through the process, not giving up, you know, finding time, and then. Probably I would say maybe there is 50 people who commented or who sent me messages and stuff. That's enough. And it's not the end of the journey, but as you said, the progress, like the process itself. If you don't enjoy it, then the creativeness actually stops.
Well, it was a big wake-up call to me because one of my friends who's an author just said, I absolutely love writing. And I realized that somewhere along the way, I started to see it as this big burden. It was a chore.
Yeah.
And I do think I am probably more inclined towards film and TV now.
Yeah.
I've had some really great experiences with directing, and I have fun with acting, you know, and all this sort of stuff. But I still want to write. It's not that, but I don't want my entire creative being to be writing. I feel like writing is, like, to me, something I outgrew a long time ago.
So if you have to make a choice, writing, journalism, acting, and film, what would be your preference?
I feel like the next step for me is much more filmmaker, director.
Okay.
But so in the industry they call it, you know, you're a //. So a // because you're like a writer / director / actor.
Okay, // okay.
And it's an Australian thing, because when I did like an initiative sometime with these Americans, they were like, // what's a // And I'm like, okay. Well, it means that I'm attempting to be all three of these. And I remember one of my mentors at a time early on during COVID, like they had a lot of initiatives, and I had a mentor, and she just said, oh, Amal, pick one, please. Just pick one. And she was really against it. Okay. And years later, when I made a short film, she was involved, and she said, I take it all back. You have something, you should pursue this, and you love it, and you've got somewhere to go with it. Yeah. And I was really like, oh, okay, great. Like, you got to trust your instincts. Yeah. So I didn't act in that film. I wrote it and I directed it, and I needed to be both in that situation, because my direction relied so heavily on my understanding of the story. But there are different kinds of directors. So there are directors who are for hire. You know, you're writing someone else's vision. You're directing someone else's vision. Yeah. I think I would be more inclined to just wanting to make my own stuff. But it's not easy. It takes money. It takes time. If you want a good crew, I probably don't want to make films on my phone. You know, I'm not that person. Yeah. I was very lucky. I got mentored by a really well-established director, 𝗙𝗏𝗄𝗏. I was part of like a Create New South Wales have like an attachment register. And so I signed up during COVID thinking, well, look, you know, you've got barely any experience. I'd made 2 short films and they were terrible. But I just had this instinct of like, I'd better just try. Why not? And it took a couple of years, but then I got picked up, and she took me on as an attachment for a show called 𝗵𝗵𝘁𝗵, and it was on Stan, and it was essentially this big BBC Stan production.
Okay.
And Anna took me on as her attachment. So I wasn't there for the whole thing. I was there for her block, and I was there for certain days. And then when she came back to do season 2 and she needed an assistant, they asked me, they said, do you want to come back and work work as Anna's assistant? And I said, yes. So I was there for almost the whole show. And I learnt so much. And you don't realize, I think the advice I would give anybody, no matter what their pathway is be teachable. Be someone who's still willing to learn, because I never saw anyone who was really good at their job who didn't think they had more to learn. The really secure people who were good at what they were doing and they were established and they were in the highest roles, I still felt like they were still having to problem solve, still having to adapt, still having to go, okay, this is a new problem.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you good at what you do. It's not that you just have this skill set. It's that you know how to take that skill set into any situation.
Yeah.
And one of my director friends said to me, she said, directing is problem solving 90% of the time. And it is. So it's this strange thing where I did the short film last year to test myself.
Okay.
Because I thought, let's see if I can really do this. Because when I directed the short films 10 years ago, I didn't know I had no idea what directing was. I was just completely learning on the fly, and I did it. I knew.
Is it out?
So it's a short film, which means I'm submitting it to festivals and things like that.
Okay. So you can tell the name, or you can't say anything?
Yeah. It's called the Open Cup, and it's essentially it's about a young woman who she left home out of she wasn't married, she's still single, but she's an Arab woman, and she left home, and her mother didn't approve of that. But they're reunited on this particular day because her sister is getting married, and so they're making sweets. So the neighbourhood aunties come to make sweets, and they read the coffee cups. Arab women read coffee cups.
Yes.
And so they read Sana's coffee cup, and it sort of opens up the Pandora's box. And so it's very hard in an 11-minute film to give full justice to a story. And so I was taking a lot of advice from people, keep it really short, because, they won't take a 20-minute film. And so I listened to that and I made an 11-minute film. But sometimes I wish I had just made it a bit longer, because it just gives it more room to breathe. But the only way you learn is making shitty stuff, frankly. This isn't shitty. I'm very proud of it. I think I had a great crew, beautiful cinematography, all of that. That was all there. The actors were great. A couple of non-actors who I think were really, I feel so bad I threw them into the deep end. But it hasn't been done. These are Arab women on screen, they're not all Arab, but three of them are. 2 Arab, there's 1 Arab man as well in that. You're just not seeing these people on screen enough.
Yeah.
And so for me, I have to take the lesson of that and go, this is a start. It's not the end. It's nothing. It's just one thing you've done. And so how do you take that and then now continue the pathway? And I think part of it is I think I have to be not shy. I think the thing about being an actor, I don't think I'll ever be I'm not trying to be Meryl Streep. That's not what I mean when I say actor. I think it just makes me a better creative. Okay. It makes me a better writer and better director having acting skills, because you know what it's like to be reading lines and you know what works and what doesn't. But also you have great empathy for your actors, because you know what it's like to be vulnerable and be put, a whole crew is staring at you. Of course, yeah. It's very hard. And so as someone who's done acting and been on camera and seen myself and thought, I look terrible or whatever, you have that sensitivity, for your actors. So anything that is going to make you better at what you do, I just think there's no harm in adding that if it doesn't impair your ability to do the other things, So I think it's important to sort of be known for something, but if it's going to be writer, actor, director, that's an accepted sort of slashy. You know what I mean? It's not an unusual thing these days, especially. A lot of people making their way in the industry because they're in front of the camera and behind it and all of these things. So you have to sort of be brave, I guess, and just pick it. And there are some directors who are absolutely I would never want to be on camera, and I also don't think anyone should. They should just direct. Bradley Cooper directed A Star Is Born and he was in it. He didn't get nominated for a Best Director Oscar. I think Lady Gaga got Best Actress
Yeah,
nomination. Yeah. It's interesting because his response to that was, "Oh, I failed my actors, or I failed in the film, and I didn't deliver the film," and you can tell it hurt him. And it's like, well, I wonder if he had gotten somebody else, if he would have gotten the Best Director nod. You know, because its direction is so consuming.
Yes. Yep.
So you know, it's a hard one to do both.
Yeah, that's a completely another conversation. I need another hour.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm going to run out of juice in a second. I got my limits.
No, it's there's so many aspects here, but I'm just also trying to summarize some of the conversations we had in, let's say, in last 2 hours.
I know, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So just hear me. This is my summary of the conversation we had. You're born in Sydney to Palestinian family, migrated, and you have 4 brothers, and you've been brought up in a conservative family. At the same time, because of your dad's entrepreneurship, you had access to videos, movies, and the excitement for you of getting a stereo.
Pop culture from the beginning.
Pop culture thing has actually opened up, even though in that conservative stuff, it has opened up for you to see things, hear things differently. And then going into law and transitioning to journalism, you found a platform where you felt you can give a different voice to Arab women, where they've been portrayed or not portrayed at all. And that's been become your screensaver for a while, and you're continuing to do that. And the recent unfortunate events happening in Palestine is again has created some sort of turbulence in the journey, but you're finding ways to, give the message. Above all, the humanity is, we're all equal, we're all human. We shouldn't never take granted the life which was given to us. And on top of that, doesn't matter how many challenges, whether it's professional or personally taking, care of the loved ones, or hearing the health issues which we haven't anticipated, and suddenly we need to get through that. Instead of just focusing on what's going on in our heads, we need to just practically deal with things day by day, not week by week, month by month, especially when those things happen. And above all, going through this, trying to be authentic and not pretending, not being fake, and still looking forward to keep creating is what I hear your story today. And all these things seem maybe so personal, some of them, so open the other ones. You had meet a lot of people, you've been in the limelight. You actually, the video you're talking about your parents, that actually summarizes the strength and the spirit you have in you. Someone tried to take advantage of the vulnerable situation your parents were. And then you didn't give up. You used your journalism, you used your law, you used your connections, whatever it is. You said, this is not right. And that's who you are. And that's the spirit you're carrying. And that's the reason you are our everyday hero. And thank you for coming. And thank you for sharing all the things you shared. Not, everything, what you're going through. And some of the things you mentioned, I wish all the best. And the other things, I wish you all the peace.
Thank you so much. It's a very, very beautiful summary. And it's nice to have someone, I guess, echo things back to you in a different perspective and give you that sort of way of looking at things. So thank you. I do think it's important to make things that you do matter. So I hope that that's what I'm doing. Thank you.
Before we finish, can you please share with our audience where they can find your 8 books and where they can find you, where they can talk to you, where they can ask you if something they heard today which resonated with what they're going through?
My main public-facing thing is Instagram. So if you look up Amal Awad, I'm there. And I probably post more in my stories than on my grid, but I do share things there, including that the non-fiction books, I've actually taken the rights back from the publisher and I'm republishing them all over the next year, hopefully.
Wow, okay.
With new covers. Starting with 𝗙𝗵𝘁𝗵. So that's going to be a fun
I
one to
really
do.
want to talk another hour just on that, because ancient Egypt is my favorite topic to explore.
Yeah. It's funny. It's just, ancient Egypt is romanticized, and I'm sure it was a really
No, for me, it's more important because it taught me more about afterlife.
Interesting. Yeah. No. So anyway, okay. Well, I'll make sure you get a copy. But so I think that that's the main way people can reach me. And so during COVID, I recorded a podcast called Creative Confessionals.
Okay.
So that's available online at various places, like the usual culprits, I think. And I have a card deck as well called the Creative's Compass. So the books are available. I think you can order them online from anywhere.
Okay.
Their publication dates have passed for so long that now it's all online.
Okay.
You might find them in bookstores here and there in Australia, but I don't know.
Yeah.
𝗙𝗀𝗵 was published in America.
Yeah.
So actually they can pick up a copy of 𝗙𝗀𝗵, I think, at like even Target or all those places, Walmart, whatever. And then the deck, the Creative's Compass, is through TarotStack. And TarotStack is like independently owned, and they really support independent artists and writers and things like that. And so the Creative's Compass is essentially for creatives who are struggling with being a creative, because it sucks. It's a deck.
Of course, they need help.
You need help. So everything is, I would just say, online. If you do a search, you can find it. That's
we will put your profile details in the content.
I
when
have
it
a
comes
website,
up.
but it has to be updated, if I'm being honest.
No. We'll make sure your Insta is
thank you.
tagged, so from there people can communicate if needed.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for listening. Chat with Loki. Follow and subscribe for more wisdom from everyday heroes.